Hey guys, welcome to the Phone Arena YouTube channel once again. Today we are taking a look at the OPPO Reno4 Pro. I am going to unbox this phone, this just launched phone, which has some certain interesting features, one of it being very thin and light, which is not recently seen in many other phones. So the Reno4 Pro comes in this kind of a box. It's a 8 gigabytes RAM and 128 gigabytes ROM version, and on the box it's written that the price is 37,990. But the actual launch price you would know because I'm unboxing it before the embargo time. So what do you think of the price? Do let me know in the comment section below. Apart from that, this is made in India. It's manufactured in Gurgaon, Haryana, and of course at the back you see Android is prominently displayed because maybe some other company doesn't have access to these apps. So the SAR value for the head, it's 1.19 watts per kilogram, and for the body it's 0.74 watts per kilogram. This is a 4G phone, and of course it's dual SIM. So let me take the phone out of the box. On the side you can see it's always written that OPPO is a sponsor of the International Cricket Council. So I'll take the box out. Let's check the box contents. As usual, you have a TPU case, the SIM card ejector tool, and you have two paperworks. Of course, one is the safety guide and the other has some of the specs. Inside the quick guide, you can see that the slot is a dual SIM plus dedicated micro SD card slot, which is highly necessary, of course. And then you have all the bands listed, the SAR value again listed, and some sort of the specs of the phone, like camera, which is 48 plus 8 plus 2 plus 2 plus 32 megapixels at the front. So that's it for the smaller box. Then you have the phone. This is the Reno4 Pro covered in plastic, and the plastic says this has a 90 hertz borderless screen with a 92% screen to body ratio, 65 watt Super VOOC 2.0. This will charge this 4000 mAh battery phone in about 30 to 32 minutes, which is crazy. And then you have some special features for the camera like AI color portrait and 960 fps smart slow motion, which means that they have some interpolation effects going on there. And this phone is powered by the Snapdragon 720G, which is the latest 7 series processor from the company. So let's take the phone out. And I gotta say, it is really light. It weighs in at 160 grams, if I'm not wrong. And the 160 grams is, these days, extremely light. I mean, I don't know if you have handled 200 grams phones, which is mostly all the phones these days, especially if you have a 5G phone, it's going to be 200 grams. Compared to those things, this is super light. And the display looks absolutely amazing. I've just entered the setup screen here, and there is just 1% of battery. I'm going to do a battery test for a separate video as well, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, the phone looks really good. It has a matte finish at the back. Over at the right side, you have a green accented OPPO button, which is for the power button and the lock switch, of course. And over at the top, you have the microphone and the SIM card tray. And over at the left side, you have the split volume rocker. Over at the bottom, you have a 3.5mm jack, which is not available in the global variant of the OPPO Reno4 Pro. The USB port, the main microphone, and the loudspeaker. Of course, this is not a stereo loudspeaker setup. It's a mono, just at the bottom. So very clean and very minimal looking phone, and very attractive design if you consider the matte finish upgrade over the glossy finish. The sides are plastic, not metal. Also under the phone, you have the 65 watt Super VOOC 2.0 charger. You can see that it has a 10 volt 6.5 ampere output. So that's how you know 65 watts. There is also a USB Type-C cable. And underneath the USB Type-C cable, surprisingly, something that you don't get with, in fact, you get with all the Reno devices, but not with the other devices, is the 3.5mm headphone jack earphones, which is great. So thank you, OPPO, for doing this. Nobody seemed to do this anymore. So yeah, that's what you get inside the box. So that's about it for, the phone and the looks. Let's take a closer look at the software. So the phone is now fully set up. As you can see, it's a gorgeous 6.5-inch screen. Feels pretty compact in the hand because of the 20:9 aspect ratio. Feels really long, but you can see in wide screens, or rather it's in dark mode. So let's go into some wide screen. Maybe the calendar. Let me go to the settings and turn off the dark mode. So now you can see in full white brightness that the screen borders are really, really small. It's 92% screen to body ratio, looks really good. And the display is also a great display because it's almost the same HDR display with 90 hertz refresh rate as the OnePlus 8 or the Reno4 Pro global variant. It's an AMOLED screen, looks gorgeous. You can see inside the display settings, you have the screen color modes, gentle or vivid. It has sRGB mode in the normal. It's the vivid is the P3 mode, which is meaning the DCI P3 color space, and it has HDR plus support. So the screen refresh rate is now locked at 90 hertz, but you can also do auto select and also keep it locked at 60 hertz if you want. And rest of the stuff you're pretty familiar with, I'm sure. It's ColorOS, and I definitely prefer ColorOS in terms of design language. It looks really clean. It looks very organized, and it's also optimized when it comes to performance. The gestures are great, and overall you get a lot of tools. Like for example, here you can see app cloner, game space, split screen, and all these features you get only with ColorOS and from the OPPO stable. So these are the details: 720G, 128GB, out of which 110GB is available, 8GB of RAM, Android version 10. And you probably will get an update to Android 11, but not more than that, I'm sure. And that's too is not guaranteed. For sure, the Reno 10X Zoom got a software update, but this one is currently running ColorOS 7.2 with the latest security patch, of course. So yeah, this is ColorOS 7, pretty familiar OS, and a lot of bloatware installed, of course. Pretty much what you would expect from any ColorOS device. Now, when it comes to the camera, you will see that this camera is actually a kind of a downgrade from the Reno 3 Pro because there is no telephoto lens. There is a 1x 48 megapixel lens and 8 megapixel ultra wide, but there is also the other two lenses, which is 2 megapixel macro and 2 megapixel depth. Not really impressive this time for the Reno series in terms of the camera department, but what they have done in software is pretty interesting. So in the portrait mode, you will see in the color modes, you have portrait color retention, which means that you have a kind of a color separation effect. So these are just photos from the camera samples. I'll show you some AI color separation. This is a selfie. It's a 32 megapixel photo, and generally it looks pretty good. But in terms of effects, you only have this portrait color retention, which will definitely identify people's faces and make them in color, the people in color and rest of it in black and white. And there's also night flare portrait, in which you have a bokeh mode in night mode. So that's also there. In terms of video, you have these bokeh features as well. Portrait color retention again, and then you have only blue, only green or red. So you have that, and you also have the bokeh video effects. So if you have some person, there is going to be a portrait mode in video. So that's there. This is powered by 720G, so no surprises there. There is also the ultra steady mode. Ultra steady mode with Pro and ultra steady Pro, or rather ultra steady and ultra steady Pro. You can see the crop factor is different in both. They use different algorithms. The ultra steady Pro is using the wide angle lens. The normal is using the main sensor. The ultra dark mode is there as well. You have a tripod mode, which means that it goes to much better shutter speed, longer shutter speeds. So this is pretty much the camera. Again, not as capable as the Reno 3 Pro, but still pretty good. Again, advantages from the Reno 3 Pro include better design, better display, and of course, very light and thin design and build quality. So overall, I think it's a good design. When it comes to Reno, they want to focus on the design and the cameras this time, not much of the cameras, but design. I think they are focused on this time. The display has taken a big upgrade, a great looking display, HDR 10 plus, and the punch hole is also really small. If you want to take a look at the front camera, it's 32 megapixels. It's really good, and you will see that 32 megapixel mode as well here. Right, this is the frame. I'm sure inside the settings you can change the resolution. So video resolution, you can see there is also a slow motion mode, which is smart slow motion. I think it's 240 fps, and it's interpolated into 960 fps that you will see. So I'll show you that, and you'll be done with this video. So there is 4K support, which with 30 fps, of course, no 60 fps. So there you go. That's the Reno 4 Pro. What do you think about this phone? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.